My name is Linda Mukasi. Welcome to my Tableau dashboard presentation. This is part of the Data Science Bootcamp Level 2, Task 9. Here I have loaded a dataset from the Tableau dataset resources from their website. I have the Pokemon dataset. With the Pokemon dataset, we get to find information about each and every Pokemon that exists from the Pokemon characters. Also, please note that for some reasons my Tableau responds very slow, so I will have to wait in some instances for it to refresh. Pokemons is a part of a show, a cartoon show that plays on TV. With each and every data that we get, there's a lot that we can say about it. But before we can say anything, we need to visualize it and understand the data. So in this storytelling, I will be explaining and asking questions about this data and visualizing the data. Understanding and visualizing data helps us create stories, and it helps us solve problems and also create product in whatever field we would like. Like for instance, with this data set, if you were planning maybe to create a game, you would understand more about what attributes each Pokemon consists of. I will be only using the Pokemon table for this presentation. There are other tables that have more information about Pokemons, like how they evolved from what to what in terms of strength. There is the moves that Pokemons have, and a type chart which is in relation to the type that each Pokemon has. Moving on, I have created these storyboards at the bottom. The first storyboard I created is to compare the attack strength of Pokemons according to their type. So we have different type of Pokemons. We have types. We have Pokemons that are bug. We have Pokemons that are dark. Others are dragons. Others are electric. Others are fairy. Others are good in fighting. Others are fire-like, or they have possess a nature that resembles fire, or they have fire in their body in a normal state. This is not in any other state. Or others are actually ghost-like. Others are grass-like and the ground, and there's more up to water. So this is just comparing the strength and seeing in which group do we have more strength. And also for defense, we want to see which group has most defense and less defense. And there's also a storyboard about the attack strength, where I look deeply into each Pokemon and how strong they are in terms of attack, and also the same each Pokemon and how strong they are in defense. And then there's a storyboard that shows a circle view between attack, defense, a combination of attack, defense, and speed. And it puts them in this nice circle view side by side to see where each Pokemon would lie if they were to be compared, or if we were to combine the sum of the three, to see which Pokemons are mostly strong. I have another circle view side by side here, which, as I said, my Tableau kind of takes time to load. If you are seeing the cursor, it's still loading, so some dots might not appear here, some circles. But in this there we go. In this single view, we get to see each Pokemon and where its strength, defense, and speed lies. If the combination of 3 is above a certain number, or it's below a certain number, this also gives us a clear view of how strong a certain Pokemon can be. Moving on to the presentation mode. Before we move to the presentation mode, I have to say that there's a lot of things that you can do with Tableau. You can define filters, as you see this side, to say if you want to filter using the average speed, which is what I did here, and the average defense and the average attack. And you can also set colors for your filters. You can also define the colors of the circles within the graph. You can sort your graphs. If some graphs cannot be sorted, like this one, you cannot apply sorting because you can't sort something that you plot on a Cartesian plane. It's more like a point, so you can't sort it. But if it's something like this, where it's a scale, you can sort according to which one has the largest or the smallest, ascending and descending. And there's a lot you can do with Tableau. But now we will move to the presentation, starting of course with the first one. It's still loading, please bear with me. But as it loads, the reason I chose a circular view to compare between groups, it's because it allows us to group points according to their group. Like if you can check here, we are checking for attack on the side, and then we are checking on the groups at the bottom. So on the y-axis, we have the strength in attack, and then on the x-axis we have the groups. And you can tell from the way it is now which group is likely to be stronger. It's mostly the one that would be above others. So if you check here, most groups will be starting at around 35. It's where most of them start to have Pokemons with a strength of 35 and more. There's only a few that are below that, and you will also see that at around 155, most Pokemons stop having a greater attack. Only a few selected, which is above this portion, have a greater advantage in strength compared to the majority that lies here. So we can say the average is between that 35 or 30, but it of course it requires a calculation if you want to be accurate. This is just from a view perspective, to say, looking at it and just hovering, you can see that around 35 or 30 to around 160 or 150 and between there, it's average for all the groups, because most of them lies in this area. But we also see that with flying, they are more distributed, meaning you wouldn't just say that the flying group of Pokemons are weak or are strong in attack. But looking at fairy, you can tell that most of them you would likely beat them in a battle if you were to put them with something like dragon, because their strength mostly starts to they start to have more Pokemons on the range 65, whilst the attack for fairy it starts from 20, and it's more stacked on the low side of the attack. And then there is obviously another observation that you can make with grass, bug, and water. You can see that these groups have a lot of Pokemons, because where the circles intersect, you see the shade becomes more, so it's not really easy to tell how many Pokemons are there just by looking, but you can tell that it's a lot as compared to maybe Dragon and Electric and Ghost. You can tell that a lot of Ghost Pokemons, there's not a lot of Ghost Pokemons. And you can also see that because there's not a lot of Pokemons that are great in attack, you can just tell that since this guy has 330 in attack, Mega Banet, he might be strong in attack. But we can't say he can win a battle, because we need to understand his defense, because we know that for you to win a battle, you need to be good in defense and in attack. And the same can be done now to add speed. But I believe attack and defense can do you good in battle, even if you are not fast. But fast is also an advantage if maybe we get a tie between Pokemons. My Tableau is still loading. Okay, it seems it has finished loading. When it comes to defense, we see a different view from attack. We see that a lot of Pokemons have a low attack defense strength compared to attack, obviously. But compared to each other, we see that they are more likely in the same range of defense. So it will really be difficult to tell who would win between Pokemons who are good in strength and Pokemons with the same defense. Because now if you both have the same defense and you are both good in attack, then it would be a great match to watch. And also looking here, we can see that grass is most Pokemons from grass are most likely good in defense because they don't start from the most average that others start. You can tell that most start from the average of 35 just compared to attack, but rock start from 45 from 40 to 45, and also steel, you see that it's only 1, 2, 3 that are below 70. The rest are above 70. So steel is good in attack. So this is the information you're getting, that okay, Pokemons from the steel type are usually good in attack, and it would explain a lot because iron is usually rigid and strong, and also it explains rock because it's hard and strong. And looking at normal, it makes sense why normal is below, because if you are normal and water, it is usually flexible, but it doesn't give you a good defense strategy. And also fairy, because of the nature that fair is in, and maybe because of the body type. If you are a fairy, we know that you are usually tiny, so you wouldn't be good in defense. But we also see that in steel there is a one outlier there, which is Mega Agron. That side we saw Mega Panet, something like that, being strong. Although we can't pick up where he lies this side. If we can go back and see that this guy is in the ghost. Sorry, my Tableau is loading again. But we can tell that this Pokemon is on the ghost type, and if we come this side to defense and check under ghost, although they are mostly stacked in one area, we wouldn't find him, but we can write some code maybe to the data set in Python to find out where he might lie here, because having a good attack but be bad in defense can make you lose a match very easily. And you see that when it comes to defense, this is not Mega Panet, but this is Panet. The Mega. Okay, I can't find him. But moving on, this side we get to see it's still loading again. We get to see the attack strength for each Pokemon. And if I may just sort this in a descending order to see which Pokemon has the most strength in attack. It has loaded, and then we see that Mega Mewtwo X has has a great strength, and then you can go back still, but because of my table busy loading slow, I can't now move back to the other storyboards because of size and length of the video. But you can see already that okay, Mega Mewtwo in attack is good. And then now you will start to ask yourself, why did that one show us that Mega Panet is good? We didn't see this guy, Mega Mewtwo, on this side. So these are the things that we can start asking, because this data set was not cleaned. Maybe there's other attributes that Tableau is looking at and not finding on the other visualization. And then going to defense, we can also do the same thing and sort descendingly to see which one has the greatest strength. And usually you would want to pick a Pokemon that is mostly average in both strength and attack, so that you know that you have a 50-50 chance of winning a battle. And then we see that this side is Shackle. Shackle has a lot of strength and Mega Aggron. They are both kind of tied there. This is what the data set is telling us. Scrolling, but Tableau is loading very slowly. I don't know whether it's my PC or it just works like this. Moving on, this one is an interesting one because now we get to see where most Pokemons are average, and we see that where they are mostly intersecting, that's where most of them are just like normal or average. But then the interesting thing, we can start categorizing now, or creating categories of how strong Pokemons are using the 3 attributes that are being used in this graph. I've used attack, defense, and speed. If you check this graph, you will see that we can create a category to say, since the highest this side is 400 and this side it's above 400 a bit, because this is 400 exactly on 400. Okay, it's 400 to 400. So we can say from 50 and below. So if you are in this box, we can say that you are most likely you are most likely weak, or you are not that strong. We can categorize you as the weak Pokemons, and then from 50 above, maybe let's say to 150, we can say you are normal, you are kind of strong. But from 150 to maybe 250, to this range here, 250, we can say these ones are stronger. So you would likely pick from this third category. And then from 250 going above in both section defense and attack, those ones we can call them mega. As you can see, most of them are called mega. You can call that category mega to show that these ones are not your normal or typical Pokemons. They are usually the strong ones. But the interesting thing here is that if 250 is here, we would want anything we wouldn't want this section. We would want anything that starts from 250 also here. So from this point, this kind of section would be mega. So this section would have its part, and this section would have its part, or its name, and this section would have its name. But this one here, it's where you wanna pick, because the defense, it's above 200, the attack is above 200. So this guy is usually can be stronger than this guy, even though his attack is not that good. But because the combination of their speed, attack, and defense, it's greater than this guy. His defense is low. So this section here, where it's both 250 above. So both defense and attack, if it's 250 above, we can call you maybe ultimate or prime, to show that you are no longer just mega or mega defense or mega attack, but you are ultimate, meaning whoever can come against you, they can only win if they are in this section. Moving on, looking into this graph. Sorry about this. Looking into this graph, which is the circle view side by side, which is this one, side by side circles. We get to understand now, we can pick names from our previous stories. The reason I can't is because every time I'll have to scroll for a name, Tableau will take time to load. But the idea I'm trying to push here is that you can easily see now the view that you get from this graph, that some Pokemons, as much as they can be low than this one, but because they are more balanced, if you look at this one, Arceus is more balanced because his speed attack and defense is more balanced, he can usually win against a Pokemon of this nature because their defense is low, their speed is kind of moderate, but they are good in attack. But because this guy is balanced, you can target the defense mode of this guy and maybe defeat him in that way. So nice logic can be made, and it's an interesting data set for me to understand that your strength doesn't only come from attacking only. It comes from a lot of things. Looking at these tables, there's a lot that we can use. There's power, there's PP, there's even points in some of the table, which is HP, to see how many points you have gained in life since you've been a Pokemon, because experience also counts on these kind of things. You can be good, but if you are not experienced, you are just you're just having power that you cannot use because you don't know how to use it. But if you've been having fights with other Pokemons and your HP is great, of which is something we can use to see that, okay, since you are good in everything, you have a great strength, but have you been having experience? And that's all I can say about this data set that I've chosen. Obviously, there's a lot of insight that can be driven and that can be derived from this data set. I thank you.